Hey traders, Nick here. Looking at the price action on the 15th of March, trying to see if we can get clues as to where we stand during this tough week. These comments are my opinions, and definitely do your own homework. So if we're looking at this chart right here, right in front of you, is the S&P, and it's a 15-minute chart. Every bar is 15 minutes. So this is today, this was yesterday, the day before, and the day before that. So Monday and Friday. And you can see Monday was tough. We recovered. We had a good day yesterday, Tuesday. We woke up to a minus 2% scenario, and then we rallied back. So the S&P closed minus 0.6, but if you consider yesterday's action and today's action, we've done nothing basically, right? You can split the action somewhere down the middle, and we've had action above it and below it. So we have a couple of support zones, maybe 3 below, and a couple of resistance zones, and some open air if we break out of, say, 394 SPY, and some more losses, maybe the low 70s, 370, 372, if we lose the Monday lows, the pre-open lows. So that's the big picture. If you followed me, you've known that my concept is that markets should go higher unless we get a new shoe to drop. Well, late last week, we had a new shoe drop, which is a banking crisis, maybe, maybe not. So that's what Wall Street is trying to price out. So a couple of big banks in the U.S. failed. Now Credit Suisse overnight was the one that is raising questions about some European banks, or outside the U.S. banks. Is Deutsche Bank in danger? We don't know. But that's the point. Wall Street has questions. So until they figure them out, the VIX explodes, and there are uncertainties. So we need the leaders in the world to knock out those questions one after another before Wall Street feels better. Meanwhile, the action is actually pretty exciting intraday. We've done really well yesterday and today because we know charts and we know how to trade them. And we kind of knew what to look at. For example, I said a 389 path is doable somewhere, let's see here, at 10:15 my time, so somewhere around here. And then it came to fruition, and of course I plotted it, how it could happen. We did the same stuff yesterday, and you can see every line kind of plays out. We had a couple of opportunities here that were huge. One that kind of fizzled, it came to fruition, but this breakout we were waiting for, and it came finally to later in the day, and that arrow was my target. So what played roles? Believe it or not, energy fell really hard. The XLE, which is mostly Exxon Chevron, 40% of it at least is Exxon and Chevron, it fell 5%. Actually, it was worse. And look how it fell off a cliff right here. All of this was the energy drop, at least according to me, this one. And meanwhile, the XLP had a really good day. Comparatively, when something rises 0.6 and the market is down 1%, you'd think that they're running into the consumer staples. It's kind of a safety trade, I think. We've had a few stocks that were green, like the giga caps. Netflix up 3%. The Alphabet stock is up 2 and change. Meta up 2. Amazon up 1.4. Microsoft 1.8. Apple flattish green. So we had strength, and we also had strength in like Zoom and Hood, Intel, believe it or not, relative strength. So it's not complete all-out panic. So what do? Tomorrow morning, we have the ECB has a rate decision, kind of like, I think they've been raising half points. So what will they do? They have a crisis, a banking crisis. People are talking about a banking failure, banking crisis. Will they raise rates inside of a banking crisis, or will they say, oh, we're going to raise less, like a quarter of a point? How will the market react? Will they say, no, we're pausing for a month to see what happens, which is probably the smartest thing to do. But if they do, how will the markets react? I would bet we rally, but I don't know what they're going to do. If they raise 50 bips, I think the market will be very disappointed. And you know why? Because next week, it's the U.S.'s turn. The central bank in the U.S., the Fed, will have to tell us what they're going to do with the rates. I believe that's next week. So I believe the market may extrapolate from the action of the ECB tomorrow and say, okay, the US is going to do the same. If I was a central banker, I would say, let's wait, because we don't know if we do have a crisis or not. And if we do, if they raise, they better say we're raising because we know what's going on and there's no crisis. Then maybe that offset. But there'll be some disappointments. In any case, the biggest disappointment today and yesterday were the small caps. They can't stop falling. And that's a basket of 2,000 stocks. So maybe it's rotation. The NASDAQ closed up 0.5%. Meanwhile, the VIX closed up 10%. So I don't see often scenarios where the VIX, the fear, is up double digits and we have one index that's also green. That is very, very rare. So let's see what's going on here. Who's right? Is the VIX right, or is it panic? And is the NASDAQ right? We don't know. We'll find out in hindsight. Meanwhile, I just manage open risk, add a little bit if I need it, take a little bit if I'm worried, buy some protection if I need it, although it's now much more expensive than before. If you're an active trader, this is a dream come true. If you know your way around charts and options. If you're not, then this is a nightmare. So when in doubt, for me, I don't do anything. I just stop. And that's what the Fed should do. If it's in doubt, they shouldn't do anything and just pause and see what the hell's going on before they do anything else. Anyway, this is an interesting week. I'll do more updates.